How we're on.
Oh, damn. Welcome to the second episode of Bytesized. Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of Bytesized, where as we say, we give you the latest hacks, tricks, and tips into really winning on Snapchat and mobile video. Now, just before I start, I'd just like to point out that we are hosting our first ever webinar tomorrow on Tuesday. I think this is going on Monday, so you'll see on Tuesday, where we'll be sharing the insider tricks and tips and every single thing that we do at Fanbytes to really get the results we do for our brands. It's going to leave you with practical tips to really how to dominate Snapchat. So I'm going to leave the link in the comment below and hope that is of use to you guys because I'm really excited about it. Anyway, on to the show. So first up, the Snapchat subscription tab. So for those who don't know, recently Snapchat have introduced a subscriptions tab in a section of the app. This is where you can curate content from your favorite content creators and influencers. Now, make no mistake about this. This move was due to the fact that they botched the update that rolled out. When you have something that shows that people wanted the old Snapchat back, you start to realize that you should probably make some amendments. So the update, what it did previously, was that it moves content from your favorite influencers and content creators and mixed it with the commercial content from people like BBC, Cosmo, etc. And what that was causing was for people to not be able to find those people's stories, i.e. if I'm trying to watch DJ Khaled's story, for example, I have to continuously keep scrolling through a bunch of content which I'm not interested in. But now with the subscriptions tab, I can subscribe to his content, which therefore means that all the people I really care about are going to be in a specific section of the app. This is akin to YouTube and how you could subscribe to certain influencers and certain channels that you were interested in. And what I find really interesting is that YouTube really defined the new TV for the millennial generation, but no one has really gone out to identify the new TV for Generation Z. So what this, again, is something which I've said from the beginning. I've always said that to me, the big bet I was making was that Snapchat is the future of TV for the younger generation. And the fact that now you can subscribe to your favorite channels, your favorite influencers in a separate section of the tab means that they are really going in on this idea of being the TV for the young generation. I'm quite keen to see how this is going to pan out, and I think that as brands it could be a very interesting opportunity to think about how can we, even if we're just a company, how can we position ourselves as a channel which people can subscribe to? How can we create content which resonates with this younger generation? So second on Bite Size, Kylie Jenner tweeting that she isn't on Snapchat much, and that causing apparently what was a meltdown. So the story goes that she tweeted, and you're probably going to see it here. She tweeted this, and and $1.3 billion of value was wiped off Snapchat stock. Now, for clarification, it wasn't actually because of Kylie Jenner's tweets. Around the same time, a bank had actually placed a sell rating on Snapchat stock because of the update and because it had caused a lot of people to start rating it 1 star out of 5. So there was obviously concern there. Now, for me, this Kylie Jenner thing is interesting, right? Because I think what it elucidates is this thing about the importance of listening to your power users. I think if Snap had actually kind of paid a bit more attention to what their influencers wanted, and in fact they had been in kind of conversations with us about this, if they paid attention to what influencers actually wanted, I think what they'd find would have been perhaps a different way in which to really roll out this update. And I think it highlights a far bigger point for businesses in general in terms of really listening to your power users, because your power users have that insight into how to actually roll out new changes and how your users will react to things. So that there is kind of my take on the whole Kylie Jenner Snapchat situation.
That's fine. I mean, it's okay. We can cut it.
So, number 3, SnapStore. So now for those who don't know, Snapchat recently introduced the functionality for you to be able to buy stuff within the app. Now this started off with ghost plushies, and a lot of people ridiculed it because, you know, ghost plushies. But then they started doing some stuff on lenses, but now, interestingly, recently they teamed up with Nike and they sold a pair of Nike Air Jordan 3s. And what actually happened, I think there'll be a picture here, and what actually happened was they completely sold out in 23 minutes. And I find that really interesting because this tells the story of what's to happen in the future, which is what I think is what's happening over on Instagram and also on Snapchat as well, where the social media is now becoming the storefront of the future. So you don't actually need an e-commerce store, you don't need a www. And that to me is really, really interesting. I think the functionality on Snapchat could start being, obviously it would be widely adopted by brands soon enough, but also potentially as influencers. If you have a large audience and you can sell stuff to people, that provides a really compelling reason to stay on Snapchat, right? Because you have already a young captivated audience there. And I think another thing, just as a side note, I think that such moves could really be detrimental for people like Shopify. Typically what happens is you own your Shopify store, then you drive distribution through there. I in fact actually own some Shopify stores, so I'm fairly aware of kind of how you do that whole thing. But if rather than setting a store elsewhere and then driving traffic to it, if you already go where the traffic already is, that could really spell a lot of trouble and turmoil for people like Shopify. So I'm really interested to see how this like e-commerce game plays out, and I think that it will be a very exciting space to watch in the next 2-3 years. So I hope that was useful. Those were the top 3 big things that happened this week in the Snapchat world, and I hope that has left you with more informed insight into what is going on in this crazy world. Now, just before I go, I'd just like to again remind you guys of the webinar we are hosting, How to Dominate 2018 with Snapchat. The really big thing here is this, and so many people are not giving it a chance, Snapchat a chance, but what that means is there's so much underpriced attention here. When you look at results like getting cost per clicks of 10p, for example, you can probably tell that a lot of people are not on the platform, so you're able to move really quickly and get on there. So we're hosting the webinar where we're going to go into every single thing that we have learned as a company, where you guys can get the best insights and practical knowledge. None of this woo stuff, right? Practical knowledge on how you guys can dominate 2018 and reach a younger generation through the hacks and tricks we have learned. I really hope to see you guys there tomorrow. It's on Tuesday. Really hope to see you guys there tomorrow. It's Tuesday, that's the 27th at 10 a.m. The link is in the first comment below. Hope to see you guys there. Thank you so much for joining me for Bytesized. And again, please give me your feedback and anything that you think would be useful. Drop in a comment. Thanks. Peace.